All right, so today we're going to take a deep dive into A16s of crypto. We've got this really cool article breaking down their strategy and investments and overall impact on the blockchain space. It's going to be like a crash course on how A16s is shaping finance and art,
Yeah.
even governance, all powered by blockchain tech.
Yeah, the thing that really stands out to me about A16's crypto is their commitment to the long game. They're not just in it for quick profits. They're actually nurturing the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, I noticed that too. They kept mentioning this long-term vision, but what does that actually look like?
Well, imagine,
Hmm.
think back to the early days of the internet. It took time to develop
Right.
and to reach its full potential right.
Right.
A16 sees blockchain following a similar path,
Hmm.
and they're focused on building the infrastructure, supporting startups, and even working with governments to shape regulations.
So they're not just throwing billions of dollars at any project that comes their way.
Nope, they're being very strategic.
The article mentioned a $4.5 billion fund they launched back in 2022, on top of like $7.6 billion they'd already committed.
That's right. And that 4.5 billion, that was specifically to make them the dominant force in decentralized gaming infrastructure. They believe gaming is going to be a major part of the metaverse, and they want to be leading the charge.
So it's not just about the money, it's about shaping the direction of the whole industry.
Exactly.
But they're also hands-on with their investments, right? They're not just like passive investors sitting back and watching.
No, they're very much involved. They provide a whole support system,
Mm-hmm.
legal guidance,
Mm-hmm.
marketing help, even talent scouting. They're really invested in making sure these startups succeed.
It's like they're running a blockchain boot camp, not just a venture capital firm. So where is all of this energy and investment going? What does their portfolio actually look like?
It's pretty diverse. They've got investments in DeFi,
Yeah.
NFTs, DAOs, all sorts of different areas.
Yeah, let's break some of those down for our listeners. I think most people have at least heard of DeFi by now, decentralized finance. But yeah, how would you explain it to someone who's still trying to wrap their head around it?
Imagine a financial system without the traditional gatekeepers,
Oh,
like no banks, no brokers, just you and the code.
okay.
That's what DeFi is aiming for. It's built on these things called smart contracts, which are basically self-executing agreements, written in code and stored on the blockchain.
So it's like a vending machine for financial services. You put in your crypto, choose what you want to do, and boom, the smart contract takes care of the rest.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it. And a16z is backing some of the big players in DeFi, like Uniswap and Compound.
And speaking of things that have really caught the public's attention, NFTs. Remember those NBA Top Shot digital basketball cards? That was a pretty mainstream moment for NFTs.
Yeah, for sure. NFTs are non-fungible tokens. They give you a way to own unique digital assets on the blockchain. It's revolutionizing digital ownership and creativity for artists, musicians, all sorts of creators.
It's wild to think about owning a piece of digital art, the same way you might own a physical painting. And then there are DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations. It's like, forget voting for your class president. Imagine voting on decisions that affect entire online communities.
Yeah, exactly. DAOs are basically communities organized around a shared purpose
Yeah.
and governed by rules encoded in smart contracts. They give members a direct say in how their communities are run.
Doesn't that open up a whole can of worms, though? About fairness and making sure everyone's voice is heard?
Yeah, that's one of the big challenges DAOs are working on. It's still early days.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've covered DeFi, NFTs, DAOs. What about good old-fashioned cryptocurrencies?
Yeah.
Everyone's heard of Bitcoin,
Yeah.
but the article also mentions stablecoins. Are those just like a less volatile version of Bitcoin?
Not exactly. While Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are known for their price swings, stablecoins are designed to maintain a stable value, usually by being paid to a fiat currency like the US dollar.
So are stablecoins the key to actually using crypto for everyday purchases, like buying groceries or paying rent, without worrying about the price crashing overnight?
Exactly. That stability is crucial if crypto is going to be used for everyday transactions.
Okay, that makes sense. But it seems like we're getting ahead of ourselves. We've talked about all these amazing applications, but what about the foundation that it's all built on? Blockchain infrastructure.
You're right. That's the backbone of the whole ecosystem.
So A16s is investing in picks and shovels as well as gold mines.
Exactly. They're taking a comprehensive approach. They know that a strong infrastructure is essential for the long-term success of blockchain.
And here's where things get really interesting. A16's crypto isn't just investing, they're actively shaping the future of blockchain.
Yeah, they're definitely involved in advocacy, working with governments to create regulations that encourage innovation.
So it's not about move fast and break things.
More like move thoughtfully and build things that last. They want to create a sustainable and responsible ecosystem.
And education is a big part of that too, right? I read about their crypto startup school.
Yeah, they're really focused on fostering the next generation of blockchain entrepreneurs.
It's like they're trying to be more than just investors. They want to be the guiding force of the whole movement.
In a way, yeah, they're connecting entrepreneurs,
Huh.
developers, policymakers. It's like they're putting together a giant puzzle, and each piece represents a different part of this decentralized future they're building.
Okay, so we've got the big picture, the long-term vision, the support system. Now let's get down to some specifics. What are some of the companies in their portfolio that really stand out?
Well, big one is Coinbase.
Ah, Coinbase. Probably the first crypto exchange most people ever hear of.
Yeah, it's one of the most popular and user-friendly exchanges out there, and it's played a huge role in bringing crypto to the mainstream.
So they saw the potential early on. That's pretty impressive. What about some of their other investments? Are there any companies doing really groundbreaking stuff that most people haven't heard of yet?
Definitely. There's DYGX, for example. It's a decentralized exchange that lets you trade crypto without relying on a traditional centralized platform.
So it's cutting out the middleman.
Exactly.
I like it. What else?
Another interesting one is Flow. It's a blockchain specifically designed for NFTs and gaming. Remember those NBA Top Shots we talked about?
Yeah.
That's powered by Flow.
Wow. It's amazing how many different directions this is all going in.
Yeah, and a16z is investing in all of them.
Uh-huh.
Another fascinating one is MakerDAO. They're a pioneer in the world of decentralized stablecoins.
So they're making stablecoins even more stable.
Exactly. They created DAI, which is a stablecoin pegged to the US dollar, but it's designed to be more resilient and resistant to manipulation.
So it's like the bedrock of decentralized finance.
You could say that.
Okay, any other companies you want to highlight before we move on?
One more that's worth mentioning is Celo. They're using blockchain to bring financial services to people who don't have access to traditional banking.
So blockchain for social good. It's not just about making money. It's about making a positive impact on the world.
Absolutely. And a16z is leading the charge.
And at the helm of all of this is Chris Dixon Wright. The article mentioned him as the head of a16z Crypto.
That's right. He's considered a thought leader in the blockchain space.
So he's not just a tech guy. He understands the bigger picture.
Exactly. He's focused on the potential for blockchain to create a more equitable and decentralized future.
It sounds like he's the captain steering this ship towards the decentralized future. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the complexities of DeFi to the potential of DAOs and the importance of stablecoins. But this is just the beginning.
Yeah, in the next part, we'll dive even deeper into a16z's portfolio and look at some of the lesser-known companies and projects they're backing.
Stay tuned, folks.
Welcome back to our deep dive into a16z Crypto. We're going to take a closer look at their portfolio this time, some of the companies that are really pushing the boundaries.
It's like a treasure chest of innovation. Each company a little piece of the decentralized future that a16z is building.
That's exactly. Let's start with a company called Goldfinch. They're working in the DeFi space, and they're tackling the challenge of access to credit.
Ooh, credit. That's a tough one. The traditional system is such a pain.
Yeah.
All the paperwork and credit scores.
Yeah, Goldfinch is trying to change that. They've created a decentralized protocol for getting loans without needing those traditional credit scores or dealing with banks.
So no more begging the bank for a loan. Is this like a giant blockchain lending library?
Kind of. They use a system of borrower pools,
Uh-huh.
and people can access capital based on their reputation and track record.
So it's like a community-based system where trust and reputation are the new credit score. That's pretty wild. But what about the risk? Isn't lending without those traditional checks kind of dangerous?
There's always risk involved in lending,
Yeah.
but Goldfinch has ways to mitigate that through their community evaluation process. It's still early days,
Yeah.
but the potential to give more people access to credit is huge.
It's definitely a different way of thinking about things. Okay, what else is in this treasure chest?
Let's talk about Aleo. They're all about privacy in the blockchain world.
That's interesting. We always hear about how transparent blockchain is, but privacy seems just as important.
For sure. And Aleo is building a blockchain with privacy baked right in. Users can make transactions and interact without revealing sensitive information.
It's like a blockchain with invisibility cloaks. Yeah.
Something like that. Imagine a healthcare system on Aleo's blockchain. Patients could share their medical records securely without compromising their privacy.
Okay, now that's really cool. You get the transparency of the system, but the individual still has their privacy. What about other applications?
Oh, The possibilities are endless. Secure voting systems, private financial transactions, even protecting government data. Aleo believes privacy is a fundamental right.
It's amazing how A16z finds these companies working on such a variety of problems. Okay, hit me with another one.
All right, let's move on to the music industry. This company is called Royal.
Music and blockchain. I'm intrigued.
Royal is using NFTs to create a more equitable music ecosystem. They want to give artists more control over their work and fans new ways to connect.
So instead of record labels taking a big cut, artists can use Royal to offer fans ownership stakes through NFTs.
Exactly. Fans can buy these NFTs,
Yeah.
which give them a share of the royalties.
Wow, I'd totally buy an NFT for a song I love. What kind of ownership are we talking about here? Do I get to tell the artist what to sing next?
Not quite. But it does create a more direct connection between artists and fans. They can bypass those traditional gatekeepers.
So it's like crowdfunding meets music streaming. Fans can support their favorite artists directly.
And artists get more control over their careers. It's pretty empowering.
Yeah, it is.
And it's not just about the money. NFTs can unlock exclusive content, fan experiences, even voting rights.
It's like taking fan clubs to a whole new level. You're not just a passive listener anymore. You're an active participant.
Exactly. Royal is a great example of how blockchain is shaking things up.
Makes you wonder what other industries are next. Okay, what's the next company on our list?
Let's look at Syndicate. They're making it easier to create and manage DAOs.
Syndicate. Sounds kind of mysterious.
They're all about bringing decentralized governance to a wider audience.
So it's like a DAO starter kit.
Basically, they provide the tools and infrastructure you need to launch and run a DAO.
For anything.
Yeah, pretty much. Investment clubs, community projects, social causes.
It's like a DIY kit for building your own decentralized organization. It's pretty amazing. So we've got companies revolutionizing credit, privacy, music, and now governance. What other areas is A16z exploring?
They're also putting a lot of resources into solving some of blockchain's technical challenges, like scalability. They're backing a company called Matter Labs.
Scalability, that's a word we hear a lot in the tech world.
Right. It basically means a blockchain's ability to handle lots of transactions quickly and efficiently.
Because if the network gets clogged up, everything slows down.
Exactly. Matter Labs is developing something called zk-Sync. It's a layer 2 scaling solution for Ethereum.
Okay, so it's like adding more lanes to the blockchain highway.
Yeah, you got it. zk-Sync allows for faster and cheaper transactions without sacrificing security.
So it's like turbocharging the network.
Exactly. And this is just one example of how a16z is investing in the core technology.
They're not just focused on the flashy applications, they're making sure the whole ecosystem can grow and thrive.
And that's really a testament to their long-term vision.
It's really amazing to see how A16z is helping to build this whole blockchain ecosystem. It's not just about individual companies. It's like they're creating a movement.
Yeah, and that movement is getting bigger and bigger all the time. We're seeing blockchain tech everywhere now, in finance, art, gaming, even governance. It's like the early days of the internet. But this time it's all about decentralizing power.
Putting control back into the hands of individuals. But it's not all perfect, right? We've talked about some of the challenges. Scalability, privacy, regulation. Are there any other big hurdles that we need to be thinking about?
One of the biggest is security. As blockchain gets more popular and handles more valuable stuff, it becomes a bigger target for hackers.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like anything new and valuable. People are going to try to exploit it. So how do we prevent blockchain from becoming like the Wild West of the internet?
Well, that's where a16z's focus on responsible development is so important. They're investing in companies that are building strong security solutions.
Yeah.
And they're working to establish industry standards.
So it's a constant battle.
Pretty much. But security is absolutely crucial if we want to see mainstream adoption.
It seems like all of these challenges are connected somehow. Security, scalability, regulation.
You're right. It's a complex system, and a16z is trying to address all the pieces.
Not just the exciting stuff that makes headlines.
Exactly.
Like they're playing 4D chess
Yeah.
while everyone else is still figuring out checkers.
I like that analogy. They're thinking ahead, anticipating problems, and investing in solutions before they become crises.
That's impressive. They're not just riding the wave, they're trying to steer it.
And that brings us back to their long-term vision. They're not in it for a quick profit. They're building for a future where blockchain is just a normal part of our lives.
So what does this all mean for our listeners? The average person who might be interested in crypto, but isn't building the next big blockchain platform?
It's a great question. Blockchain is still evolving, but it's moving fast. The best thing you can do is stay informed, educate yourself,
Hmm.
and maybe even experiment a little.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket,
Right.
but maybe buy a few eggs and see what happens.
Exactly. Find the applications that interest you, whether it's DeFi or NFTs or DAOs, and start exploring.
So stay curious, do your research, and don't be afraid to jump in.
That's the spirit. Blockchain is a complex and exciting space, and you never know, you might be the one to build the next big thing.
I'm feeling really inspired after this deep dive into the world of a16z crypto. It's amazing to see how much innovation is happening.
It's an exciting time to be involved in this space.
And for our listeners, the question is, how will you participate in this decentralized future? What role will you play?
Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep questioning. The future is still being written, and everyone has a chance to be a part of it.
That's a great note to end on, a call to action for everyone. Go out there and explore the world of blockchain. See where it takes you. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into a16z of crypto. Until next time, keep diving deeper.